Hey guys, welcome to Better Assholes. Today, we're continuing to discuss. There's so much to discuss. So, God, it's not even a one day, one topic, it's like crazy all day long. So, you want to talk about crazy? Let's talk about crazy. American media. The American liberal media is crazy. You want to know how crazy people could be, how forgetful people could be, how out of touch people can be? Think about Canada and what's happening in Canada. So basically, here's a recap. Over the last 10 years, Justin Trudeau has turned Canada into, a very popular, fun, free, exciting country to like garbage. Canada now is just kind of a garbage dump of a country. So you get all the crimes and all the problems and all the everything that you hated in America, you have in Canada now. So Canada used to be one of those places where, it was touted for free healthcare. The healthcare was pretty decent, free, right? The roads were good. The people were nice and friendly. Uh, there weren't a lot of lineups. There wasn't a lot of congestion. There wasn't a lot of, protests or terrorism or, shootings and this and that. Now it's it's probably safer to just go hang out in, Detroit or Compton or wherever else that you think's a really bad area. Welcome to everywhere in Canada. And it's gotten that way through Justin Trudeau, which over the 10 years, he's imported a lot of non-vetted criminals in the form of international students, refugees, migrants. Everybody's been handed a Canadian passport. So they're happy. They go back to their country and just fill out forms online and get free money to bum around in their country. And if they're not doing that, they're here just fucking everything up here, robbing your stuff and stealing your shit and taking your jobs or whatever. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. We're not going to get into that. I think we've already got into that. Anyway, so that's where Trudeau kind of fucked everything up. So what you have now is Canada as a shell of its former self, and people are upset. And with all that upsetness, basically, Trudeau was forced to resign. But being, Trudeau himself, he figured out a way to pretty much just shut down the government and, tell people his intentions. But of course, you understand what's going to happen, right? He's going to go and probably change things up a bit, get some more people on his side, and then not actually follow through with it. But we know that's how that tends to go. Now, let's get on our main topic here. Now that you have a backstory, we got that 3-minute backstory. Now, the deputy prime minister of Justin Trudeau was Chrystia Freeland, which was always considered to be kind of useless. She went from, I can't remember, she was some other position, got moved into being a finance minister, and then deputy PM, and basically every atrocity that Trudeau basically came out with in the last, was it like maybe 3 or 4 years, she has been beside him, defending him, pushing that policy, and reiterating she has been an enemy to conservatives, an enemy to anybody center politics. She's been an enemy to anybody looking for a better Canada, anybody that can remember the Canada they grew up in, anybody that was born in Canada. She has been a traitor. And so the liberal US media, now that Justin Trudeau, quote unquote, has resigned, the US liberal media is trying to tout her as being the next Canadian prime minister, the woman we need to focus on, the woman that should be taking over, the woman that needs to make Canada great again. Now, where have we heard this before? I think I heard this just not too long ago, right? Wasn't this whole thing with Biden? So Biden he basically, did the same thing. He wasn't going to run again. He resigned from running again. And then Kamala Harris came up. Now, if this sounds familiar, the reason the Democrats lost, one of the big reasons, was because instead of being smart and saying, you know what, let's find some people that may resonate good with the people for a president, vice president, somebody that has some promising, uh, you know, promising thoughts and ideas, somebody that has a future that will be, promising, a vice president that is the same, cut from the same cloth. Instead, they keep doing stupid things like Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris. The part of the problem is they're so diehard Democrats on having a female president that they forget what the presidency is about and why the presidency is important. So the problem is that if you just keep throwing, you know, people that nobody likes, people that are on skill, people are just stupid. I mean, Camilla didn't get a vice presidency because she was exceptionally talented. They said we needed a woman, preferably a minority woman, and she happened to fit the bill. So it wasn't a matter of a skill that she had or she was great. Remember, Camilla she was a nominee, right, for 2016, I believe it was, and then she basically had to drop out of the race, right, because she was useless, right, because nobody was going to elect her. So this is kind of the problem, was that 2020 or whatever. But I mean, she dropped out the first few weeks, right? So there's no confidence in her abilities. So it was easy that she was going to lose the presidency, right? The bid to presidency. So that was no good. Now, this mindset, it just follows Democrats, it follows liberals, it follows alt left. We need a woman. Now, it's not that we need somebody that could do the job. So I don't want anybody to think this is something that has to do with sex and sexism and gender and whatever. It's the right person for the job. It's kind of interesting because politicians seem to make bad presidents, right? Even bad prime ministers. There used to be a time where presidents were chosen because they were basically the best generals in war. They led the war. They led soldiers. They knew how to, you know, uh, get troops going. And a lot of these people were very strategic, very smart, and they went on to become presidents because they held those unique skills. And you see, as presidents, elected officials, prime ministers, etc. So when we talk about North America and whatever, but you see how it's gone from skilled people that led battles, dealt with those type of war politics, to people that are social justice warriors, people that have never worked real jobs, people that don't understand what it's like to be in other people's shoes. So if the first job you get, I mean, you went from becoming a waitress to becoming, a politician to, to president, and at no point you've ever held a job, you never commanded people, you never really did anything. You just kind of were in politics, and politics is, schmoozing. I've done that. I've been there, done that. Politics, schmoozing, lying, putting on that face, appeasing people. Politics is a whole different story. So most politicians, if you take a politician and you said, you know what, go work, go do some real work, go with the people and do work, they lose their shit. They wouldn't know what to do for minimum wage. They'll kill themselves, right? So that's kind of a problem. And so here's where we are with Freeland, where she's not really skilled at anything. She didn't do a great job. She's no one that you're going to write home about, but they're diehard to have her be the next prime minister for no other reason than she's a woman, because basically she didn't do a really good job. We're kicking out the prime minister. Everybody's been upset with the government. right? We have record inflation, immigration problems, refugee problems, all sorts of migration issues, housing issues. Like, I mean, there's so many issues, job issues. There's so many issues in Canada. And the only thing that this current government can worry about is how can we put women in power in the government, or how can we, make Indigenous people be happy? Everything else, nobody cares. You go downtown and people are blocking Palestinian people. God knows how. We have a whole bunch of Palestinian people here and that have no jobs, that are all protesting all day long, but they're protesting, and we're giving them money to protest, right? The government gives them money in form of welfare and all these different, money for being refugees, money for being immigrants, all this money they get. And so they don't have to work. They're out here protesting Canada and then our allies. It's ridiculous. That's what's going on. And that's the Trudeau government. That's the Liberal government. That's not a strong government, right? The cops are against this stuff. The police are really against all these protests, right? But they can't do anything because their hands are tied by the government, because the government wants votes. And the way the government gets votes is by making sure all these people that are brand new to Canada are happy. They get their free passports, free PR. They could go on the streets, block off stuff because they don't have to work. They get free money. So that's how it is. And this is what these dumb people in the States want. These dumb Americans, these dumb liberals in the States. This is what they want. It's ridiculous, right? So no, nobody in Canada wants Freeland. Fuck yourself, CNN. Fuck yourself, Democrats. Fuck yourself, you alt-left liberal assholes. Because when Canadians, it's funny because I remember somebody saying about, Canadians talk about American politics, right? And so, we have our, people here like Trump and whatever, right? People here were saying, hey, Trump would be good. Trump, I mean, even though Trump's going to make it difficult for Canada, the attitude of our country's great, that's amazing. I think Canadians would love a government that said, our people here, our born Canadians are great. Our country is great. Let's move ahead and become a great country. Let's stop all the shit that makes us horrible. Let's get these people off the street. Let's get homeless people off the street. Let's get people out of tents. Let's change the atmosphere. Let's create jobs. Let's create factories to build and maintain stuff in Canada. Let's give people, money and grants and investment so that we can build technology here, so we can build space programs here. We could have been doing what SpaceX is doing. We could be doing what Tesla's doing. We could do what these huge companies are doing. But our government instead doesn't focus on our people. They focus on other people. We don't need to send money to Ukraine. I didn't start a war with Russia, right? I wasn't part of the USSR. I could care fucking less, right? As far as I'm concerned, I have a problem with as many Ukrainians as with Indians, as with everybody else, right? I mean, we're at a point now where it's, we're giving people money. We have all these refugees here. There's no place. As much as we want to help Ukraine, right? There's a lot of Ukrainians here. They're nice people, but guess what? It's not Europe. Europe's over there across the ocean. You're better off in Europe, right? All these people coming from, Africa and India and Asia, and if you're a refugee and there's countries around your country, you're not in the middle of the ocean, then you should be going to the country next door and asking them for help, and that you need to be out of your situation. Because if you're, having a problem in whatever country because you're gay, you should just go to the other country. You don't need to come to Canada and get handouts because you're gay in Nigeria. It doesn't make sense, right? Just go to South Africa, go to whatever country where they just sign rights for gay people and go over there, right? It's no better here, right? So go, right? This is what you got to do. You got to tell people, right? You're here, you're applying as a refugee because there's no PlayStation 5 in Turkestan. Come on, get the fuck out of here. So no, we don't want Freeland as a prime minister. We don't want any more liberals. Fuck you, Democrats. Fuck you, liberals. We don't want you guys. We don't want NDP. Fuck the NDP. Fuck that Jagmeet. Fuck him. And that's it, right? This is better assholes. Fuck all those guys. Let's get this Canada great again.